What's going on, Yu-Gi-Oh fans? PlotArmorCards in the house, and today I'm going to be coming to you with my updated Ghoti deck profile post Darkwing Blast. Now, please stay tuned for the end of the video because we will be having some nice giveaways at the end. So let's go ahead and get into this video. So of course, we're going to be starting with 3 copies of Zep, the Ruby of the Ghoti. This card is super dope and I love this card. You can banish this card from your hand, then target one fish monster in your graveyard, banish it. This has the potential to pop off a lot of different combos in the grave. In the grave, but then also the next turn, right, from the banished pile. Secondly, if this card is banished, you can special summon it. If this card is special summoned, you can accept during the damage step immediately after this effect resolves, special synchro summon. So it does really help you to get more synchro summons off on your opponent's turn, possibly take advantage of your boss monster. Next, I got 3 copies of Shift, Fairy of the Ghoti. You can banish this card from your grave, then target a fish monster you control. It gains 500 attack until the end of the turn. Now, this is a pretty decent effect, I would say. The 500 isn't like the greatest thing in the world, but the fact that it banishes itself is a great thing because during the standby phase of the next turn after this card is banished, you can special summon this banished card, and then during your opponent's main phase, the turn this card was special summoned, you can quick effect immediately after this go for synchro summon. So really good. Next, I like to play Triple Play Light of the Ghoti. I think this is a much needed card because you can banish this card, special summon a fish monster from your hand. That is basically my favorite way to get into our super ancient Deep Sea King Coelacanth. Is it Coelacanth? Whatever it is. It's a great card. And it is really good. And it has the same synchro summoning effect as well. Next are the non-tuners that I like to use. 3 copies of the brand new Exceep Omen of the Ghoti. If a fish monster is banished, you can special summon this card from your hand. Really easy way of special summoning. Plus, it has the ability to recycle your traps. Next, I like to play triple copies of Sinopios, Shade of the Ghoti. My favorite, the Octopus. Basically, it's a quick effect, so this has insane potential. During the main phase, you can banish 2 fish monsters from your hand and or grave. Special summon this card from your hand. I actually had like an insane combo the first time I tried this card out. I banished 2 during my opponent's turn, and I was able to synchro summon, and I managed to get into White Aura Whale. And White Aura Whale, he had his whole field set up and everything. I just knocked everything he had. All of his stuff went straight to the grave thanks to White Aura Whale, which will destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls. So honestly, really good. I love the fact that they made this a quick effect. I do like to play 1 copy of Enoch just because it's nice to have an additional level 6. You know, sometimes you need just one more, so that's why I like to play with the 1 copy of Enoch. Next, I'll play 2 copies of Lifeless Leaf Fish, 1 card combo starter. You can send 1 fish monster from your deck to the graveyard. Dump something like this to the grave. This in turn will banish itself, giving your monster 500 attack, and then during the next standby phase, it will special summon itself. Blah blah, combos ensue, right? So really good card. Would definitely recommend that you play this. Next, I like to play triple copies of Beautiful Princess. You can essentially search any level 4 lower fish type monster from this deck. My favorite usually is to go for Paces because that will allow me most of the time to special summon my super ancient Deep Sea King Coelacanth, whatever it is. Really good card. I would definitely recommend use this. Plus, it banishes itself to use its effect, which can also trigger certain things like Exceep and etc. So really good. Next, Super Ancient Deep Sea King Coelacanth, whatever it is. But once per turn, you can discard 1 card, special summon as many level 4 lower fish monsters as possible from your deck, but they cannot declare an attack, and their effects are negated. This card is insane. I don't even know how to describe it, dude. Once you pull this thing out, you can go into so many different synchro summons, XC summons, link summons, whatever you want to do, right? However, I would say this one is a little bit harder to summon, and so I have seen a lot of decks that maybe aren't running it as much anymore. Maybe that might be the consistency reason. So I do have this. My side decks usually they're not like what I have cited, but like options that you guys can maybe consider, right? So Abyss Shark could be a decent replacement for that because it's just an instant summon, plus it does work for you to be able to tune and then XC summon as well because it's level manipulation. Next, I like to play triple copies of Dimension Shifter. Dimension Shifter is a must-have in this deck, I would say, just because it only helps your deck out and it only screws your opponent over, right? Most of the time, a lot of these like good decks right now, for example, you're running something against like Tier Elements or Sprite, this card is the one single-handedly will screw them over. So I would definitely recommend you use this card. I mean, you could use like The continuous spell card or the continuous trap card that banish, those work as well. But I prefer using these. Next, the field spell, the most distant, deepest depths. Now, ideally, I would also run Terraforming to search it, but I wanted to hold this deck to 40 cards, so that's what's going to happen for right now. Its effect is while you control a fish synchro monster, this card cannot be destroyed or banished by card effects. You can only use each effect once per turn. You can banish one fish monster from your hand or graveyard, add one Ghoti monster from your deck to your hand. If a fish monster is normal special summon to your field while this card is in your graveyard, you can target a fish monster you control, banish it if you do add this card to your hand. Not only does it have recyclability, but you banish one from your hand to search, which can trigger so many different combos, and basically you get the Ghoti card that you exactly need. This card is a must-have 3 of it, in my opinion. I really, really like this card, and I would not cut this at all. Next, I like to play Crossout Designator. I don't see this in too many different decks. I actually saw a guy running this at locals. Well, I like to call him Ghoti Man. I don't know his actual name, but every time he comes, he's always testing Ghotis. So he does definitely have some unique strategies, I would say. Declare one card name, banish one of that declared card from your main deck, and if you do, negate its effects, as well as the activated effects and effects. Basically, you know what this does, right? This card is really, really good because it can search or banish a Ghoti directly from your deck. And next turn, you can still activate that banished Ghoti card's effects. Meaning, if I banish something like this or something like this, I can still special summon it on my next turn. And it really, really does improve the consistency of this deck because you can banish straight from your deck in turn, being able to synchro summon on your opponent's turn. Does really help, I would say. Next, I like to play a copy of Called by the Grave. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just get rid of some of your opponent's more annoying monsters from the grave. And then moving forward to the traps. One copy of Ghoti Cosmos, one copy of Ghoti Chain, and one copy of Ghoti Fury. Now, I don't like Fury as much, if I'm being honest. In my experience, I don't like this one as much. So this might be something maybe I'm looking at cutting, but I haven't tested it at that ratio yet. So I didn't want to give you guys a complete, hey, this is what you should do or you shouldn't do, right? So next, I like to play Triple Goes in Match. Now, you can use Rivalry if you feel like going that way, but really, really good card. This has potential to just shut down a lot of really, really good decks currently happening right now. So I really like this card, and it really does nothing to you because all the decks, all the monsters you're going to be playing, main deck, are all water. Most of the extra deck is water, except for this thing right here, Baron de Fleur. Everything else is water, right? I chose this over Rivalry because you have some Cybursts in this, you have some Sea Serpent, you have some Aqua. And basically just, yeah, I wanted to make sure I could get out some of the extra deck cards that I liked as well. Moving forward to the extra deck, though. I like to play 2 copies of Ernopos, Serpent of the Ghoti. This card is super dope. I really, really love this card. You can banish one level 6 or lower fish monster from your deck, basically, which additionally pops off a lot of different combos going forward. So I'm playing the 1 copy of Gum, Spear of the Ghoti. I was running 2, and then I remembered that you can run Baron de Fleur in this deck, so I just quickly limited this to 1 and then threw in the Baron. So I'm still going to be messing around with the ratios with these 3, I would say. So you could take these 3 as like, this is what I'm using right now, but the ratios may change, especially because with this deck you can use a lot of different cards in the extra deck. So I'm playing 1 copy of the Ascan by Kern Ghoti, 2 copies of the Boss Monster Ghoti of the Deep Beyond. This card is insane. The ability to just straight up board wipe your opponent is super dope. Next, I'm playing 1 copy of White Aura Dolphin. Once per turn, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half its original attack until the end of the turn. Plus, if this card is destroyed by an opponent's card by battle or card effect and sent to the grave, you can banish 1 other water monster, special summon this card. The ability to recycle itself is really good, plus the ability to banish a card to recycle itself is even better in this deck, so really good. Our second board wipe, White Aura Whale. Now, this card has a very similar effect to this thing, where does it go? Right here. Except it destroys all monsters on the field on your all attack position monsters your opponent has instead of banishing all monsters your opponent has. Plus, this thing does piercing, and it can attack up to twice, which is really, really good. Plus, if this card you control is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can banish 1 other water to special summon it again. So, again, it does have that thing there where you can just banish, popping off additional combos, and then special summoning. So, really do like that. 1 copy of Ravenous Crocodile Dragon Archithis. I suck at pronunciations, my apologies. But this card is pretty decent, I would say. It gains attack for each card in your hand. Once per turn, if this card is synchro summon, you can draw cards equal to the number of non-tuner synchros. I like to use it mostly for draw power. It does have that ability. Sometimes it will get pretty high up there in attack, so something to think about. And then the 1 copy of Baron de Fleur. Of course you're going to be running this, right? This card's a good card. Moving forward to the XC's monsters. So 1 copy of Bahamut Shark, so we can get into Totally Awesome, because we are running some decent level 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 level 4s. Really easy to just combo out with Super A, this thing right here. I'm not even going to try to butcher this thing again. For the Link monsters, Marinisus, Great Bubble Reef, Marinisus, Coral Anemone, and that is basically what I'm running right now. However, let's go into the side deck, because the side deck I have isn't necessarily like, hey, these are the cards I have sided. These are more of, hey, these are options that you guys can think about using, right? And so firstly, Abyss Shark. I mentioned this before. Super Ancient Deep Sea Coelacanth is sometimes, I feel like, not as consistent as something like this would be, and it does have the ability to special summon itself. So if this card is used for an XC summon for a level, it can be treated as level 3 or 4 monster. So it does have the ability to level manipulate, so it's easier to get into Bahamut Shark as well. And then you have the ability, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you do add 1 level 3, or sorry, if you control a water monster, you can special summon this. And if you can, add 1 level 3, 4, or 5 fish monster from your deck to your hand. So really easy to summon, plus it has pretty decent searching effect. I think it's a really, really good card. I just couldn't find the room in here because I like to stick to a tight 40 deck. So that's why I have that as an honorable mention, I would say. White Stingray is pretty decent. You can special summon this card by discarding a water monster. If you end up discarding something like this, again, you can immediately banish it and then take advantage of its effect next turn. Then we have stuff like Piri-Ria's Map. Add 1 monster with 0 attack from your deck to your hand, but have your life points. If you want to go this way, definitely something you can do. A lot of these monsters apply. 1, 2, 3... I don't remember if this one does. No, this one does not. These all have 0 defense instead. Yeah, but you do have some, and then you have Butuna for Princess, technically. But I chose to opt out just because I like what I have so far. That's quite simply it. Moray of Avarice. It's a pretty good draw card, I would say. Banish 1 face-up fish. I don't know why I said fish. Sea Serpent or Aqua monster you control. Draw 2 cards. Now, I like this, but I like the fit in this deck, but at the same time, I don't like the fit in this deck. Banishing a face-up card you control is dope, because then it has potential to pop off combos and whatnot for next turn. But sometimes I feel like you'll end up with like this is on my field, right? I don't necessarily want to banish it right now because I already have these already banished and good to go, and I'm gonna wait for next turn so I can synchro summon, right? So ideally, sometimes you end up in that situation, and that's why I decided to just include it as an honorable mention. Gold Sarcophagus, similar effect to Cross-Eyed Designator, I'd say. Abyss Keeper is pretty good. It brings back or brings out more monsters. Borreload Savage Dragon is really, really good, especially if you're going to be running higher Link monsters. Like this thing is a Link 4, so if you're going to be doing that, Borreload is actually pretty decent. I decided to keep it to the side just because I'm running Gozen, and I didn't want to mess up what I had, you know. Next we got Mermail Abyss Gyos. It takes 2 level 7 water monsters. I saw Ghoti Man using this, so I just thought I'd mention it because it was pretty good. Yeah, but overall I would say this is my deck. Of course, I'm sure I missed so many different cards that maybe you guys would have wanted to see in this deck, and of course you guys can let me know in the comments down below. And moving forward to the giveaways. So before we proceed, I just wanted to say how thankful I am for all of you guys that have been here so far throughout my journey. It's almost been a whole year of me doing YouTube, and it's kind of crazy how much I've learned, how much I've grown, and how many of you guys have been there, you know, throughout the whole way. And so, in the spirit of that, to kind of show my thanks and to kind of get more eyes on me, you know, multitask 2 things at once, I wanted to go ahead and do a giveaway of some of the cards I have. Now, I am still relatively budget guy. I still have like expenses in real life and stuff, so I wanted to give away what I could, you know. So 2 copies of Ghoulium, and these are real life copies, by the way. 2 copies of Erino Serpent, 2 copies of Ascan. Got myself a playset of Sinopus, and I got myself 2 copies of Exceep Omen of the Ghoti. Now, in order to get these cards, all you got to do is subscribe with the subscriber notifications on so I can see that you know, subscribe. We're going to need you to like the video, and we're going to need you to comment, hey, what was your favorite part of the video? What is your favorite card? You know, what would you recommend adding or taking away, etc., etc. And so within a week or so, I would say I will be going through all of that, and I'll randomly be picking one person in order to win all these cards, and then I will present further details in the comments, and maybe my next video I'll figure that part out. But you guys will be informed, because this is my first ever giveaway, so I expect there to be like mini hiccups, but I will do what's in my best intention to try to give back, basically, is what I'm saying. But of course, guys, before I sign out for the day, I just wanted to say that, again, I did say this before, but really appreciative of what you guys have done. Really do love you guys from the bottom of my heart. And this is PlotArmorCards, guys, signing out for the day. If you like what you see, don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.